Hello everyone, George Packard, Family Lawn and Landscape, and today we're going to talk about what percentage of the jobs that you bid should you be getting. So, let's get right into it. This is the way I look at it. I look at it like I should get approximately 50% of my jobs, okay? 50. That's what I'm after. That's what I'm trying to get. I know going in that I'm not going to get all the jobs. I know that. Nobody's going to get all their jobs. And this is how I look at things. If you get 75% of the jobs that you bid, you get 75% of the jobs, odds are you're bidding them too cheap, okay? You're bidding them too cheap because that's why you're getting so many jobs. That's why people are going with you, because you're cheap, okay? On the other hand, if you're getting 25% of the jobs or 10% of the jobs, then your prices are too high, okay? So that's a good judgment barrier right there. That kind of shows you where you need to be as far as your estimating goes, and there's really no way for you to determine that until you actually get going. You know, there's no way you're going to be able to determine your bidding prices and what you should be until you get going in this business. After you get into it and you start doing some estimating, you're going to be like, Jesus balls, I bid 10 jobs and I never got one of them. Okay, well, there's a reason you didn't get those. You know, you're more than likely you're too high. The other hand, I mean, it could be other things too. It could be your approach. It could be you stumble over your words when you talk to people. There's so many things it could be. I want to get involved. As a matter of fact, I got to make a note of this, but this just a selling video. It's just so important to everybody's a salesman at some point. You know what I mean? And so you're always trying to sell yourself to these people. And you could be the greatest landscaper on earth, and if you can't talk to people, you're going to have a hard time selling work. Okay, so that being said, got to make sure I don't miss my turn here, but that being said, you have to keep moving in the right direction. You have to, and it's going to be trial and error all the time on your part. Going to be trial and error a lot. There's no magic bullet that I can give you that is going to help you land every job, because you're never going to get those anyway. But you've got to practice your skills. You've got to practice your skills at selling, at talking to people. Don't be nervous. Go in there, focus on what's important. What is their budget? And if you don't know their budget, it's tough for you. You can look at a project. I try to tell people nowadays, you know, look, I need to know what your budget is. I just did an estimate the other day for a guy, and I said, look, he wanted all this paver work done, and then he wanted all these plantings in and all that, and I said, okay, well, I can tell you. And then he's like, and if there's, you know, depending on the cost, he says to me, maybe we'll do this section of pavers and whatnot, and he's going on and on. I stopped him right there, and I said, you know what, I can tell you right now, you're going to have 10,000 into this. Just minimum, you're going to have 10,000 into what we just talked about, just 3/4 of the way around the house. So do you want me to pursue that section, or do you want me to just focus on what we already talked about? And the reason I did that with this guy is because I don't want to go out there and price things and come up with a $20,000 estimate and spend all this extra time, and then the guy comes back and just says, oh geez, no, you know, that's way too much, I'm not going to spend that, and then the whole deal is off. I would much rather go back to him, which I did, and said, look, give me your budget, let me tell you what we can do, where's the biggest bang for your buck. If you tell me I have $10,000 to work with, okay, let's work on the sections of your house that people are going to see, because that's important to you. You're on a lake, you want your neighbors to like you, their places are all fixed up nice, let's focus on those areas, you know. So it turned out well. I got the job by talking to this guy, by selling myself to this guy. So if I would have made a ridiculous price or whatever that he couldn't afford, and it was 20 grand, and I just walked away, I never would have got that job. But I took the initiative to pry it out of his cold dead lips. What is my budget? You know, and a lot of times they don't want to tell you that, but you just have to ask them, and you just tell it to them, just the way I did. You're just like, look, dude, I can give you a price. I can help you spend your money wisely, okay? But you got to tell me where I'm at. I can give you a bid for $10,000 to fix half this stuff, or $20,000 to do the whole place. I mean, where do you want to be here? Tell me where you want to be this year. Bring them back. Bring them back to where you need them to be. So you want to focus on what you're going to do this year. Don't go into that, and don't fall for that either, that old oh, next year we're going to do this, 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 and this, so if you give me a good price on that, you know, we're going to do all these things. Bullshit. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap.
Turn right onto Shore Avenue.
These guys are full of shit. They'll tell you that they're going to do all this, that, and the other next year, and they try to get you to sharpen your pencil and bring your price down for them. I've fallen into this trap, and I've given them a good deal because
on Shore Avenue for 1 mile.
They make it sound like you're gonna, the next section of this job, oh, that's where you're gonna make your money because it's a big retaining wall and it's this, that, and the other. All of a sudden, you never get a call from these guys because they weren't gonna do it anyway, or they don't have the money to do it anyway. So don't rely on that. So get what you can get this year. Focus on that when you're talking to these people, and remember your percentages. So again, if you get 50% of your job, you're doing good. That's a good place to be. I'm getting close to my job site here, so, or not job site, but the estimate that I got to give. But if you're getting 50% of your bids, you're doing good. You're doing good. Your pricing's good. I would say stay where you're at. If you guys come back on here and tell me, oh, I get 75% of my jobs, I don't want to hear it, and I don't care, because if you're getting 75% of your jobs, you're doing them too cheap. That's just the way it is. If you're getting 25% of your jobs, you need to raise your prices. So again, I've always said I would rather have 100 customers and make decent money on every one of them than to have 500 customers and break even. So I'm not going to kill myself just so that I can say, oh, I've got 500 customers. Who gives a shit? I don't care. I could care less what you have. At the end of the day, maybe I'm going to go buy a new truck and you're not going to have any money to fix your shit. So that's just because you didn't plan, you didn't budget for this, and you sure as hell didn't bring in enough money. I gotta go straight here. Can't remember. Talk too much. I can't remember what she said. All right. So anyway, this has been George Packard with Family Lawn and Landscape. I hope I taught you guys something about this estimating thing and what you can do. And we'll get into more details on this stuff down the line. But again, George Packard, Family Lawn and Landscape. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, leave me your comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. I used to say I answer every comment. Now I'm saying I answer as many of them as I can, and I really do. I try hard. So anyway, leave me your comments, guys, and good luck.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Margaret Street.
Margaret Street. Well, alrighty then.